Virgo, close your eyes. Not because I am trying to hypnotize you, though the story I am about to tell you might do exactly that. Close them because I am about to open a door inside your imagination that has been locked from the outside by logic, by caution, by the sensible voice that tells you fairy tales are for children and castles are only real in photographs. I am going to tell you a story, not a metaphor, not a fantasy I invented to comfort you. A story that is already written, a story that is already breathing in the space between what has happened and what is about to happen. A story with a beginning, a middle, and a future so luminous it makes my chest ache just to look at it. And you, Virgo, are the center of this story. You are the reason the pages are turning. You are the gravity that pulls the plot forward. Because someone is about to fall madly in love with you inside this story, and I have been given the gift of seeing it first, and now I am going to narrate it into your heart so that when it happens in your waking life, you will recognize every single detail, and you will know without a shadow of a doubt that you were always meant to walk into this castle and find your name etched into the heart of the one who has been searching for you without knowing what they were looking for. Picture it. Picture the castle. It rises from the landscape like a memory that refuses to fade, all stone and shadow and centuries of secrets held in its walls. It is not the castle from the movies you watched as a child, though it has the turrets and the flags and the heavy wooden doors that groan when they open. It is older than that, more real. The stone is weathered by rain that fell before your grandparents were born. The windows are tall and narrow, framed by ivy that climbs with the stubborn patience of something that knows it has all the time in the world. There is a courtyard, a garden, a maze of hedges that seems to rearrange itself when no one is looking. And there is an event, a gathering, a convergence of souls that looks like a party, a wedding, a festival, a retreat, a celebration so specific to your life that when you receive the invitation or when you stumble into the invitation by what looks like accident but is actually divine choreography, you will feel a flutter in your stomach that you cannot explain. You will almost say no. You will almost find an excuse. Your Virgo mind will list the reasons it is inconvenient, the travel, the expense, the time away from your responsibilities, the fact that you do not know enough people who will be there. But something else will speak louder. A whisper from your higher self that says, go. You must go. He is there. She is there. The story begins there. And because some part of you, the part that still believes in magic, even though you hide it behind spreadsheets and to-do lists, because that part will nudge you, you will say yes. You will pack your bag. You will step onto the train or into the car or onto the plane, and you will travel toward this castle, not knowing that you are traveling toward the rest of your life. Now, watch the scene unfold. Watch the evening arrive. The sun is bleeding gold across the horizon, and the castle walls are glowing with it, turning the ancient stone into something that looks like it was built from honey and light. There are people everywhere. Laughter echoes off the cobblestones. Glasses clink. Music drifts from an open doorway. Something acoustic and haunting. A melody that seems to have been composed specifically for this moment, even though it was written 100 years ago. You are there. You are standing in the courtyard, or perhaps near the fountain, or perhaps under the archway, where the roses have grown so thick they form a canopy of pink and white. You are wearing something that makes you feel slightly outside yourself, not uncomfortable, but visible. Maybe it is a color you do not usually wear. Maybe it is a fabric that moves differently than your everyday clothes. Maybe it is simply the way the light hits your face, illuminating the bone structure that you usually criticize in the mirror, but that tonight looks like it was carved by an artist who loved you. You are nervous. Your hands are occupied with a glass of something cool, or with the edge of your sleeve, or with the need to adjust your hair for the 15th time. You are scanning the room, not looking for love, because you stopped looking for love a long time ago. You are looking for the exit. You are looking for the bathroom. You are looking for the friend who promised to meet you here and is running late. You are looking anywhere except at the door where the story is about to walk in. But the story is already walking. He is walking, or she is walking, through that heavy wooden door that groans on its ancient hinges, stepping out of the twilight and into the golden light of the courtyard. And Virgo, the first thing you need to know about this person is that they did not want to come tonight either. They fought this invitation. They had a list of reasons longer than yours. Work, obligations, the belief that social gatherings are a waste of time, the conviction that they are too broken, too busy, too finished with the idea of romance to bother dressing up and standing in a room full of strangers. But something pulled them here, the same something that pulled you, a force older than their resistance, a knowing that masqueraded as curiosity. And now they are here, and they are looking around with the same vague discomfort you feel, the same sense of being slightly miscast in a scene they did not write. They are wearing something that does not quite match the formality of the event, or perhaps they are overdressed, or perhaps they are simply carrying an energy that is too large for the container of polite conversation. They are magnetic without trying, not in a flashy way, not in a way that demands attention, but in a way that makes the air around them seem to hum at a different frequency. And for a moment, as they step into the courtyard, their eyes scan the crowd and find nothing. They see the decorations, the other guests, the musicians, the waiter passing with a tray. They see everything except you. And you, in that same moment, are looking in the opposite direction, watching a candle flicker, checking your phone, adjusting your stance, completely unaware that the axis of your life is about to tilt. Then it happens. The turn, the pivot. The moment that every love story tries to describe and almost always fails because language is too small for it, they turn their head. You shift your weight. The crowd parts just enough, or the light changes just enough, or the music swells just enough, and suddenly your eyes meet across the courtyard, across the distance, across the noise and the laughter and the centuries of stone that have witnessed 1,000 gatherings but never one exactly like this. The eye contact lasts 1 second longer than politeness allows, 1 second that stretches into an eternity, 1 second in which something passes between you that is not a glance but a recognition, a soul-level déjà vu, a memory of a future you have not lived yet. And Virgo, I need you to understand what is happening inside them in that second, because this is the beginning of the fall. This is the exact moment their heart forgets its own name. They do not just think you are beautiful, though they do. They do not just think you are interesting, though they will. They feel something that their mind immediately tries to categorize and fails. It is not attraction. Not yet. It is something deeper. It is the soul saying, there you are. I have been looking for you across lifetimes, across continents, across every wrong turn and dead end, and almost that ever led me away from you. And now you are here. And now I remember. Their breath catches, actually catches. They have to remind themselves to exhale. Their hand tightens around whatever they are holding, a glass, a jacket, the edge of a book they brought as a shield against awkward conversation, and they do not look away. They cannot, because looking away from you feels like looking away from the sun, and their eyes are starving for light they did not know they were missing. And what about you? In that same second, you feel it too, not with the same conscious awareness, because your Virgo defenses are faster than theirs. Your mind immediately starts working. You catalog them, you notice details, the way they stand, the shape of their shoulders, the expression in their eyes that seems to hold a sadness and a hope at the same time. You notice that they are not performing. They are not trying to impress anyone. They are simply standing there looking at you with an openness that feels almost violent in its honesty, and it scares you. It scares you because you recognize something in them that you have been hiding in yourself, a depth, a hunger for truth, a loneliness that is not pathetic but noble, the loneliness of someone who has refused to settle for anything less than real. You feel your cheeks warm. You feel your pulse in your throat. You feel the urge to look away, to break the spell, to retreat into the safety of your own composure. But something keeps your eyes locked. Something keeps you standing there, exposed, visible, seen. And that something is the story. The story has already begun, and stories, once they begin, do not stop for fear. Now, watch what happens next, because the fall does not happen all at once. It happens in stages, and each stage is a scene, and each scene is a gift. They will find a reason to move closer, not directly, not obviously. They are too intelligent for that, too self-aware, too afraid of rejection to march straight up to you and declare what they are feeling. But the universe is directing them now. The universe is placing people in their path, nudging them toward the bar where you happen to be standing, arranging for a mutual acquaintance to introduce you, causing them to overhear a comment you make that makes them laugh out loud, a laugh so genuine and so surprised that you turn toward the sound. And there they are, closer now, close enough to see the flecks of color in their eyes, close enough to smell whatever they are wearing, something clean and warm like wood smoke and rain. The introduction, when it happens, is ordinary on the surface. Names are exchanged, hands are shaken, or not, depending on the custom. But underneath the ordinary, the current is electric. When your skin touches theirs, if it touches, or even when your voice enters their ears, they feel it like a shock wave. They have to concentrate to hear what you are saying because their mind is screaming. They are memorizing the shape of your mouth. They are cataloging your voice like a collector, finding a rare species. They are fighting the urge to lean in too close, to stare too long, to ask questions that are too intimate for a first conversation. And you are analyzing them. You are trying to figure them out. You are looking for the flaw, the catch, the reason this feels too intense, too fast. But you cannot find it because there is no performance, there is no script. There is only the raw, terrifying, beautiful realness of two people who have just recognized each other across the noise of 1,000 lesser connections. The conversation begins, and Virgo, this is where the story deepens in ways that will make you weep when you remember it later. They do not talk to you about the weather. They do not ask what you do for a living and then glaze over while you answer. They ask you something strange, something that bypasses the small talk entirely. They ask about your dreams. They ask about the book you are reading. They ask about the thing you are most afraid of losing. They ask why you came tonight when you clearly would rather be home in comfortable clothes with a cup of tea and a documentary. They see through you, not in a predatory way, in a way that makes you feel like someone has finally turned on a light in a room you have been sitting in for years. And because they see you, you start to unfold. You start to say things you do not usually say. You start to reveal the parts of yourself that you keep hidden because you think they are too much, too complicated, too specific. You tell them about the way you organize your books by color and they do not laugh. You tell them about the anxiety that wakes you up at 3 in the morning and they do not try to fix it. They simply listen. They lean in. They hold the space of your words like it is sacred ground. And the more you talk, the more they fall. Not just in love with your face, though that too. Not just in love with your mind, though that is part of it. They fall in love with the way you hesitate before you speak, as if weighing each word for truth. They fall in love with the way your hands move when you are explaining something you care about. They fall in love with the way you deflect compliments by changing the subject. They fall in love with the way you look at the world, as if it is a puzzle you are trying to solve with kindness instead of force. They fall in love with your contradictions, your strength and your softness, your independence and your longing to be chosen, your brilliance and your insecurity. They fall in love with all of it. And they know with a certainty that makes their bones ache that they will never meet anyone like you again. This is it. This is the one. This is the person their soul was shaped around, even if they did not know it until tonight. But the story does not end in the courtyard. The story moves. It shifts locations like a film changing sets. Maybe you find yourselves walking through the garden maze, the hedges towering above you, the moon rising, the stars appearing one by one like witnesses. Maybe you end up in the library, surrounded by books that have outlived their authors, the smell of old paper and leather wrapping around you like a blanket. Maybe you climb a spiral staircase to a tower room where the view of the countryside spreads out before you like a painting, and the wind is cool and you are both slightly breathless from the climb and from the proximity. Wherever you go, the world falls away. The other guests become ghosts. The music becomes a distant memory. Time becomes elastic. You talk for hours that feel like minutes. You discover connections so specific they feel manufactured by a novelist. You both love the same obscure film. You both quote the same poem. You both grew up with the same fear, the same dream, the same strange habit of alphabetizing your spices. Each coincidence is not a coincidence. It is evidence. Evidence that your souls planned this meeting before your bodies were born. And with every piece of evidence, they fall deeper. They are no longer standing at the edge of the cliff looking down. They are in free fall. And they are not afraid. They have never been less afraid in their life. Because the ground they are falling toward is you. Then comes the moment of separation. Not forever, just for the night. The gathering ends, or the evening winds down, or the castle bells ring out the hour, and reality begins to creep back in like tide. They have to leave. You have to leave. And the thought of not seeing you again, of going back to a life that does not include your voice, your eyes, your presence in a room, it hits them like a physical blow. They feel panic rise in their chest. They feel desperation claw at their throat. They have to see you again. They have to know if this was real, if you felt it too. if the story continues past tonight. So they do something brave. They ask for your number or your email or the name of the cafe where you get your coffee on Sunday mornings. They ask with a voice that is steady but with hands that are not. They ask with the full knowledge that you might say no, that this might have been a magical evening that evaporates in the morning light, that you might have felt everything they felt but are too cautious to act on it. And when you say yes, when you give them the piece of information that connects your world to theirs, the relief that floods through them is so intense they almost have to sit down. They walk away from the castle that night, or they watch you walk away, and they do not sleep. They replay every second, every word, every glance, every laugh. They are rewriting the story of their life with you as the main character, and the version without you has already been deleted. But Virgo, the story does not stop at the castle gates. The castle was just the prologue. Now comes the courtship. Now comes the unfolding. And I need you to know how everything will be, because this is the part that matters most. This is the part that will carry you through the days when you doubt. They will call you, not text, call, because they need to hear your voice, because texting feels too small for what they are feeling. They will call you the next day or the day after, not because they are playing it cool, but because they cannot wait any longer. And when they call, their voice will be different, softer, more open. They will ask you questions they have been saving up since the moment you parted. They will tell you things they have never told anyone. They will let you into the rooms of their heart that have been locked since the last person who hurt them walked out, and they will not play games with you. They will not be hot and cold. They will not withdraw to test your interest, because they know that what they found in the castle is not something you gamble with. It is something you protect. It is something you build. They will show up consistently, reliably, with a devotion that makes your cautious Virgo heart suspicious at first, because you have been taught that love is supposed to be uncertain, that if it comes too easily, it must not be real. But this love is real. And it is easy not because it is shallow, but because it is correct, because it is aligned, because it is what happens when two souls who recognize each other stop pretending they do not. They will fall more deeply in love with you every single day, not in a dramatic, performative way, not with grand gestures that exhaust you, but with attention, with presence, with the way they remember how you take your tea and how you hate cilantro and how you need 10 minutes of silence after work before you can talk about your day. They will fall in love with the way you organize your closet, with the way you make lists for trips, with the way you care for people who do not deserve your care, with the way you cry at commercials but hold it together during actual crises, with the way you are endlessly patient with everyone except yourself. They will see your perfectionism not as a flaw, but as a form of love, a desire to make things right, to make things beautiful, to leave the world better than you found it. And they will gently, consistently, lovingly teach you that you do not have to be perfect to be loved by them, that your mess is part of the package they signed up for, that your bad days, your anxious days, your days when you cannot get out of your own head, those days are not obstacles to their love. They are opportunities for it. They will hold you on those days without trying to fix you. They will sit with you in the dark and remind you that the sun always comes back, and that until it does, they have brought a flashlight. How will everything be? It will be like coming home to a house you have never seen before but recognize instantly. It will be conversations that last until dawn and still feel unfinished. It will be silences that are comfortable instead of heavy. It will be a partnership where you are not the manager, not the fixer, not the one who holds everything together while the other person drifts. It will be two people building a life with four hands instead of two. It will be them learning your language and you learning theirs until you develop a dialect that belongs only to the two of you. It will be them supporting your ambitions, not as a spectator, but as a co-conspirator. It will be them showing up for the small things, the dentist appointments, the grocery runs, the tedious errands, with the same enthusiasm they show up for the celebrations. Because to them, being with you is the celebration. Every day is the event. Every moment is the castle. And you, Virgo, you will slowly, carefully, with the methodical trust building that is your nature, you will let them in. You will let them see the parts of you that no one has seen. The childhood fears, the adult insecurities, the secret dreams that feel too big to say out loud, and instead of shrinking from them, instead of telling you to be realistic, they will expand to hold them. They will become the container for your largest self. They will become the mirror that reflects your beauty without distortion. They will become the home you have been building inside yourself for years, finally made visible in the form of another human being. There will be challenges, because every story has them, but the challenges will not break you. They will bend toward resolution because the foundation is real. Because the love is not based on illusion or projection. It is based on recognition. When you disagree, they will not disappear. When you are difficult, they will not withdraw. When you need space, they will give it without making you feel guilty. When you need closeness, they will provide it without making you feel needy. They will learn your rhythms. You will learn theirs. And together you will compose a symphony that is unlike anything either of you could have created alone. You will travel together. You will build together. You will heal together. You will laugh until your ribs hurt at jokes no one else understands. You will sit in hospitals together, in airports together, in boring waiting rooms together, and even those moments will feel sacred because the person sitting beside you is the one your soul chose. And years from now, when you look back at the castle, when you remember the courtyard and the eye contact and the garden maze and the tower room, you will realize that the story was never about the setting. The castle was just a stage. The real miracle was the recognition. The real miracle was the courage to say yes. The real miracle was two people who had almost given up on love deciding in the same heartbeat to believe in it one more time. And they will love you until the end of the story, Virgo, which is to say, they will love you beyond the end of this life, because the love I am seeing is not temporal, it is eternal. It is written in the permanent ink of the Akashic records. It is the kind of love that becomes a reference point for other lovers. The kind of love that makes people who witness it believe in God or in magic or in the simple, devastating truth that two people can find each other in a universe of billions and choose each other every single day. They will fall madly in love with you in the castle, and they will stay madly in love with you in the apartment, in the house, in the car, in the hospital, in the garden, in the quiet rooms where no one is watching. They will stay because they know what they found. They know that you are the rarest thing they have ever touched, and they will spend the rest of their life making sure you know it too. So when the invitation comes, when the castle calls, when the story presents its first page to you, do not hesitate. Do not analyze the travel time. Do not calculate the cost. Do not wonder if you are dressed right or if you will know enough people or if it is a good use of your weekend. Say yes. Say yes with your whole chest. Say yes with the part of you that still believes in happy endings. Say yes with the part of you that has been waiting in the dark for someone to turn on the light. Because the light is coming. The castle is real. The story is already written. And the person who is about to fall madly in love with you is already on their way, fighting their own resistance, packing their own bag, walking toward the same courtyard, the same fountain, the same moment of recognition. You do not have to chase them. You do not have to find them. You only have to show up and let the story begin. If you felt your heart swell while hearing this, if you saw the castle as clearly as I see it, if you know that your love story is not a fantasy but a future waiting for you to step into it, I want you to claim it right now. Drop a comment below and write, "My story begins now." Let the universe know you are ready. Let your own soul hear you say yes to the love you deserve. And if this reading found you at the exact moment you needed to believe in castles and happy endings again, subscribe for more messages that see your future and narrated into your present. The castle gates are open. The courtyard is lit. The music is playing. And your person, your madly in love forever and always person, is walking through the door. Go meet them, Virgo. Your story is waiting.